thing going on TikTok with Tariq coming on and chopping up with people, having live discussions, is that a lot of folks who have been on TikTok have been expressing all the different opinions that they have about Tariq. They're saying that um, he's FBI, he's a feds, um, op, whole lot of negative energy on TikTok from a lot of people, especially a lot of people who've been on TikTok for a while, showing how much they don't like TikTok. Even a lot of people who, just the average everyday person, everyone just expressing how much hate, disdain that they have for Tariq. Foundational Black Americans are also in the crosshairs as well. Um, from some of the indigenous communities, Aboriginal communities, they're even being attacked by Native American communities. Um, some of the things that are being said about FBA are that FBA is a hate group, which is not. FBA is worshiping Tariq. They're saying Tariq is FBA's god. Um, just a lot of stuff being said without people necessarily um, getting full context behind what FBA really is. Even though Tariq is a very transparent person, he allows anybody on his platform to come up and talk to him about what FBA. There's plenty of videos out there explaining what FBA is. Foundational Black Americans, the people who pretty much built America from the ground up. It's pretty simple. You don't have to identify as FBA. It's just it is what it is. People who don't know about FBA can still be necessarily FBA. Let me see. Tariq's known for a whole lot of stuff, especially with the Black community. He's put out multiple documentaries on Black history, African history, Haitians, just history on everything. Even before that, he was giving game to young guys, Mac lessons and stuff like that. I wasn't necessarily on Tariq at that time. I didn't discover until Hidden Colors 2, I believe. I think I was in Sacramento Job Corps at that time. But um, I noticed a trend with everything going on with the whole Tariq thing. This feels a lot. It feels a little bit repetitive, um, as far as the pattern of attack that the way they're going about attacking Tariq, destroying his character. It's the same thing that happened to Kevin Samuels at the time. Kevin Samuels was um, doing a lot of content, especially on YouTube, when it comes to like talking and communicating with men. Rest in peace to the Godfather, Kevin Samuels, giving men game on increasing their income, fashion, what to wear, how to smell, how to dress. He was an image consultant. He pretty much gave us the game. He encouraged me to put on more suits. I got a lot of game from Kevin Samuels. He didn't start getting more attention until he started talking to women, though. Um, once Kevin Samuels started asking women what they wanted and what they needed to do to get what they wanted, it became a huge problem. Uh, Something happened. There was a gender war after that, and that's what I'm getting from this whole Tariq thing. Um, they attacked Kevin Samuels the same way. Kevin Samuels' main talking point was, if you already had children before, that was one of his main things. Go back and continue and fix the family you already made. And people didn't like that. Or people, most women didn't like that. The women who followed Kevin Samuels were attacked. They were called pygmies. The men who followed Kevin Samuels and agreed with his talking points, uh, they would say to the men like, "Kevin Samuels, your daddy." Um, yeah, it's pretty much the same thing that's going on with Tariq. There is a divide going on. I'm not going to say any names. But I believe the same thing that went on with Kevin Samuels, where they called it a gender war. They had men and women beefing over who was right and who was wrong. Same thing is happening with Tariq. And if we aren't paying enough attention, somebody's going to play us for some saps. Tariq is just the one caught in the middle. Um, I mean, you got people who are calling him a op, a fed, and I believe they were calling Kevin Samuels the same thing, just because he was one person who had a little bit of success, not a little bit of success. They were both very successful, Kevin and Tariq. And I believe if we pay attention, we can look at the clues that are used in order to manipulate us. But we just got to pay attention. We got to pay attention to what's going on with this whole thing, because we are at each other's neck the same way this gender war thing happened with Kevin Samuels. Everybody who's calling him the feds, a op, who's saying he's here as a plant and all that other stuff. I say take two steps back and look around, and He's just a man out here living his life. Um, I'm pretty sure if anybody else was in his shoes, they would probably do the same exact thing. So, what were they saying about? They were saying Kevin Samuels hated women. They were saying Kevin Samuels was sassy. Um, they said there was one point Kevin Samuels had somebody sleeping on one of the Zoom calls, and they said that that dude was in the same room as Kevin on the Zoom call, but some dude was listening to Kevin while he was just sleeping in bed, and there was this whole thing about Kevin had some dude laid up in his bed. But I was there watching live when that happened. That was hella funny. Um, Kev would check anybody and bring that same energy that they brought to him, same as Tariq. So there's some similarities between the folks who are pushing this whole gender divide. Back when Kevin Samuels was doing his content, there was a whole lot of content going around where men and women were just like beefing with each other, and just nobody was just compromising. There was a whole lot of that content being pushed out, and uh, it's feeling like it's the same people. Like the people who wanted to push men and women apart are the same people who are trying to point the finger and say FBA and Tariq is the problem. If you can probably look and see who has more to gain from this division, because all I see is Tariq saying uh, we can all coexist. It's just that we got to focus on ourselves first, which I agree. It's like, I mean, you got to clean your house first before you trying to clean somebody else's house. It only makes sense. One of the main things I learned from Tariq is that once, because he talked about this a few times, what happens, especially with like the FBI tactics, if they want to take you down, they're gonna work overtime, especially with like the slandering and the shaming, the falsifying information. Once they can isolate you from the community and your people, um, they're just gonna do anything to you, and the people that they isolated you from are just gonna accept it. Which is why FBA has to continue to check any and everybody who, especially on TikTok, um, searching up stuff on Wikipedia and just throwing it against the wall. They got to be checked, because last thing we need is another Kevin Samuel situation uh, with another uh, divide. Our people fighting. Um, yeah, yeah. And I'm gonna leave this video with this message for anybody who still thinks Tariq or Kevin back in the day was that op.
When you point a finger at someone in blame, there are 4 fingers pointing back at you. 3. That's weird. Fuck off! You know what?